Good morning, everyone. It's morning where I am right now. So good morning. This is Dr. Barbara, and I'm so glad to be here with you. And today, what I want to talk about is how to change your frequency. So everybody's talking these days about frequency and vibrations, and it's really what we're focused on right now. And I can tell you that it's worked really, really well for me. And so if you listen to someone like Einstein said, the basis, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he said frequency, it's all, the world is about frequency and energy. Tesla said, if you want to know about the nature of life, you have to think in terms of frequency. So we are all energy. We are just made up of energy vibrating at different frequencies. So if you think of a piano, way down at the base, you have these big fat strings, and the hammer hits the string. And because it's so big, the string is so large, it vibrates really slowly, and it gives you this really deep, tone. So you have the deep, darker tones down at the bottom that are vibrating at a low frequency. And then you go up to the top, and you have these really high, thin strings, really narrow piano strings, and the hammer hits it, and it vibrates really fast, and you have a very high frequency, high sound. So the note is high, the tones are high. And that's the same way we, in our life, when we are dealing with lower frequencies, slower moving frequencies, we're dealing with the less beneficial emotions. So I want to show you this thing. It's called the emotional guidance scale. You can just Google this. It's on the internet. I copied this off of something I Googled, and you can see this is the downward spiral here, and this one is the upward spiral. So at the top of the downward spiral is boredom. So boredom it's a higher frequency than pessimism or frustration, but it is a much lower frequency than contentment and optimism and passion. So it gives you an idea of where you are. So if you're bored, you are not generating a lot of energy. And we can tell when we feel great, right? One morning you wake up and I'm like, whoa, everything's good, and everything's just clicking along and you feel really, really good. And then some mornings you wake up and you don't feel so good and you're operating at a much lower energy. So that's just to say that we're all made out of energy. We all have these frequencies that we operate on, and they fluctuate up and down throughout the day, depending on if you're hungry, if you're tired, if things aren't going well at work and you get frustrated. So you do have some control. In fact, you have all the control over changing these frequencies. Now, you can't go from the bottom of this one to the top of this one in one jump. It's a spiral, right? You have to work your way up the top. So the best thing to do when you're trying to change your frequency and you're trying to feel better is to just reach for the next better feeling thought. So you want to, and I've said it's better to be angry than to be depressed, right? So if you're depressed, it would be much better to begin to get angry because at least it's got some more energy to it. But you don't want to stay in anger. You want to move up, and then you can maybe get down to the cause of the anger. And maybe the cause of that anger is that someone disappointed you. And disappointment is a higher frequency than anger. And so you can feel your disappointment, which is a truer feeling than anger. And then by that way, working your way up to contentment and hopefulness, and to be able to work out of it. So you can also change your frequency a little quicker by doing things like putting on really great music and moving your body to it, not necessarily dancing, but at least moving And there's other energy work that you can do. Like, do you remember, those of you who are my age, you'll remember Muhammad Ali when he would be facing his opponents. He would go up to them and he would, with his gloves on, and he would brush his arms down in front of them. Just like that, whoosh, whoosh, and he would do that over and over again. Well, that was not just him putting on a show. That was him lowering their energy, so that there's a movement that you can do to brush your energy back up over your head. And you do this, and it brings the energy down from your lower brain. There's people who believe that, well, there are neurons in our gut and there's neurons in our heart. So you can brush the energy up from the lower regions of your body up over your head, and that will also raise your frequency. So when Ali was doing this, he was bringing their energy down. He was trying to lower their energy. And I don't know if he was doing it consciously, but that's what he was doing. And so you can raise your energy by doing this. Just brush it up over your head.